Shabbat shalom, everybody. Daddy, what does it mean to be holy? Intrigued, I replied, well, what do you think it means? He said, being nice, being kind, and being thankful. Yes, to all of those things. Doing good can certainly make us holy. But is it really that easy? This week's Torah portion, Acharei Mot Kiddushim, a double portion, features the Holiness Code. It begins with God commanding Moses to tell the people, "And you shall be holy, for I, Adonai, your God, am holy." Thankfully, the text continues with a myriad of ways of doing holy. Obey Shabbat. No idols. Take care of the stranger. Don't steal or be profane. Don't put a stumbling block before the blind, nor render an unfair decision. Love your neighbor as you would yourself. Quite the code. It lays out a perfect example of what it means to achieve holiness. Now, God could have outlined this code in a one or two liner if it were truly easy. Alas, it takes a full chapter. It builds and ascends like a ladder to the heavens. And that, my friends, is because being holy is a challenging feat. And yet, it is achievable. We're good people. I'm sure of it. We actively try to be nice and kind, as my son Hayden suggested. I've seen it in all that we do here at SHM and beyond. But I wonder if too often we participate in helpful, meaningful actions, but forget to embrace these acts and live them in a sustainable fashion. Canadian author Rabbi Zive teaches, goodness can endure a few moments. Holiness is life-defining. We may act good, but how do we act holy? We do holy things from time to time. We volunteer at our time coaching our kids' sports teams. We donate food and clothing. We offer tzedakah, and we reach out to community in their times of need. And deservedly so, everyone feels good afterwards. But how often are we thinking about, as the West Wing's President Jed Bartlett used to say, what's next? What is the next thing on our list so we might define our lives as holy? Being holy doesn't mean being perfect, because, let's be real, nobody is perfect. It's about the ongoing journey of striving to be sacred. We all have the tools in our box to achieve such holiness. Goodness can endure a few moments. Holiness is life-defining. I'll suggest a simple, twofold vision towards climbing the ladder of holiness. 1, be consistent. And 2, be authentic. Recently, many participated in our Sharing Healthy Meals food drive. Many marched for justice and equality. Others strive to learn more and become closer to God, our culture, our people. People firmly stood for Jewish values and ideals. And kol hakavod, all of the honor and respect to you. That is sincerely wonderful, and I, along with many others, are truly grateful. But what did we do the next day? The next week? The next year? Have we looked ahead? What was next? Rabbi Naomi Levy offers a beautiful blessing to help us answer that question. She says, open my eyes. God, help me perceive what I have ignored, uncover what I have forgotten, and find what I have been searching for. Remind me that I do not have to journey far to discover something new, for miracles surround me, blessings and holiness abound. Step by step, with consistency, we'll recognize our holy place in this world. Moment after moment, action after action, we will make a difference to ourselves and to others. Then we'll say, I really enjoyed doing this. It felt good and I helped others. Or perhaps you'll say, I did this with my family and friends. We were holy together. Our rabbis teach mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One mitzvah, one fulfilled commandment leads to another, which then leads to another, which then leads to another, which leads to righteousness, which eventually leads to holiness. And up the ladder we go. If we're consistent, we're not just doing good here and there. We are actually being holy as it is stated in the Torah. The next step to being holy is authenticity. Imagine walking into temple and volunteering as a High Holy Days usher. On Rosh Hashanah, we are as warm as can be, escorting people to their seats, being a true mensch. 10 days then go by. It's Yom Kippur, and even though we might be cranky and we might be hungry, we keep the smile. We follow through, and everyone thinks the world of us, including ourselves. We're truly authentic in that moment. And the mensch title stands. And yet, when we leave the temple, does that authenticity remain? We might not be known as that loving, caring, helpful, holy person in other settings. Now, certainly, circumstances may cause our emotions to change given the craziness of life. But do we remain true to our values, to our authentic self? Does one's action and attitude here at temple just become a thing that we do, rather than something that defines us? That is the definition of doing a good action, rather than striving for holiness. The holiness code helps each of us to find a sustaining path in being authentic. I look out tonight to my entire congregation, and I see holiness in front of me. We are following the holiness code. Now, some might argue that they don't keep Shabbat. Well, we're here, whether physically or watching virtually. Do we do something different on Shabbat than we do throughout the rest of the week? If so, we are keeping Shabbat. Do we love our neighbor as we would ourselves? I'm willing to guess most of us do. Do we commit robbery or intentionally hold back wages? I'm guessing and I'm hoping no. Friends, we are already living and following the holiness code. That is authenticity. Now, what if we expanded our horizons just a little more each day, each week, month, year? Do we want the person who takes do we want to be the person who takes all the fruit from the vineyard? Or do we want to ensure that there's enough fruit for everyone because everybody needs to eat? It's an analogy, of course. Do we want to authentically be the person who gives to others for the greater good, or for just a one-time deal to say that we did it? At SHM, we're not in it for the one-time deal. We stress being holy rather than doing good things because we value the consistency and authenticity that define who we are and what we stand for. When Torah repeats itself, it provides emphasis. It means something, and not just for acute actions. Tzedek, tzedek tirdof. Justice, justice shall you pursue. Kidoshim tihyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai. The text doesn't just say, be holy, friends. It says, be holy, for I, Adonai, your God, am holy. It emphasizes how challenging it really is. But we can do it, both communally and individually. We can do it. I know we can. If we emphasize our values consistently and authentically, the world will be better and we will be holy. We will build the ladder and climb it that reaches new divine heights. You will be holy. The world will be holy. We will be holy, just like God. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Shabbat.